Le soleil chauffe la terre et déclenche des courants.
Welcome to our channel Lightning Vision. So from the beginning, Mother has talked to us about environment, about soulmate, sickness, disease, and everything. So if you listen to all the videos, or if you already have listened to the videos, you will notice that everything is related, and Mother knows how to explain this to us so that we can understand how something bigger than us transcends us. So today, Mother, welcome.
Thank you.
Today
Natalie.
you will do us the honor of talking to us about astrology.
Yes. A person asked me if I could talk about astrology. In the first, my first reaction was hesitation, because I said yes. There's already there's so much going on around that subject nowadays, and so many people already talked about it. What can I add? And if I add something, it will be quite profound. So is that it is interesting, but that's what people want to hear. Well, they convinced me I should talk about it, so that's what I'll do. And I will immediately say that it has to do with another attitude towards astrology. That's to say, when you look back in history, as I very often do when I explain something, you will see that in the past, and then I talk about several thousands of years ago, in Egypt, for instance, astrology was part of a whole of a spiritual attitude, a mystical path. It had to do with the inner development of man, and it was taught in the temples. It was not, as it is nowadays, just a single science apart from the rest of the world, or the rest of other parts of science, other subjects, even something apart in the life of man. It was a part of a whole, what you can call human development, the development of human consciousness, because that was what a spiritual path was talking about in the past. And those who taught in the temples knew that. So when you talk about astrology nowadays, the difficulty is that it has become more a phenomenon of curiosity. How am I made up in my personality? What is waiting ahead for me in life? What interesting facts I can expect in the course of my lifetime? Will I marry? Will I have children? Will I have money? It's a very, perhaps not all astrologers are dealing with that, and there's a very good phenomena going on nowadays. More and more astrologers are dealing with psychological facts, even with the existence of the soul. But at the bottom you will see a big part of the astrological field is still made up with very personal questions. And I would like to say, to honor astrology for what it is really, a spiritual science, we should introduce this in our lives in the right way. That means that if you're dealing with astrology, sincerely, honestly, you should integrate astrology in the whole of your inner development as a human being, from a spiritual point of view. And that means that astrology should be a part of your daily life. You have to work with the moon phases to see how the moon works on a daily basis in your life. You should work with the planets to see how planets work in your daily life. You should see your astrological chart or the astrological chart of other persons as a challenge to come further in this life as to the essential working points the soul has come for. So it's a total new approach towards astrology that we are looking for. As I already said, there are astrologers that are trying, sincerely trying to give it to have another outlook on this science. But I think we need a more, and that's the next step, a more sacred attitude towards astrology. Because astrology is far more profound than we think. It has dimensions that you can only discover as an astrologer when you put it in the center of your life as a path of spiritual development. So planets should become teachers to you, teachers of your accompanying your inner life. A planet should not be something outside of you, and then it might or might not influence you. It should bring you happiness or luck or no. A planet is a neutral factor with possibilities. Possibilities that it will give at certain moments in your life when certain constellations are situated in the right way, but it's too much to deepen that out. When the moon makes certain aspects to certain planets, when the sun is transiting in certain signs, you should, signs of the zodiac, you should deepen that out in your own chart, and eventually if you're asked in the charts of others, to see what's going on in my astrological team at this moment. And how can I use those planetary influences in the best way in my life for my development? Not to see if I will win a prize somewhere in the lotto, but to see what is your soul trying to tell you. Because it's a truth that the soul is living in another realm that's outside of the physical world. If the soul wants to give you lessons or tries to help you further on your path, the soul has to make use of the planetary movements. In that way, astrology is a real science, is a reality. So the soul knows when it has to work in time, knows how to use the planetary influences to come on Earth, to have a capacity to work on Earth, to work on us. The soul needs the planetary forces. That's to say, the soul, from a higher point of view, knows when the time has come for you to learn certain lessons. Now the only difficulty is, if you're not willing to do that, you can resist. I would use planetary influences not to resist, but to go ahead of what is asked from me by my soul. To work with the influences in the same direction. I think that is one of the most important, from a human point of view now, one of the most important ways of using astrology to work in the same direction as the soul, who's working through planetary influences. But then you have to ask yourself, what does my soul ask from me? You can find that back in the astrological theme. You have to look through life, how things work in your life. What are the strong and weaker points of your astrological chart, and so of your character, of your development. You also have to look what moments in the year are favorable, are positive for certain kinds of things you want to undertake, for certain kinds of influences. Also you have to see what is less favorable, and then use it also in the right way to make that weaker moments in phases through the year you can also use in your advantage if you know what you're going through and your approach changes. So if something in the outer world, for some reasons, linked to planetary functions, if you're not given an access to outer expansion, then you can use it for inner expansion. So to come to yourself, to meditate, to grow deeper inside. So you cannot say there are positive and negative influences. You can use everything in your advantage. But that means that you need to have another outlook on astrology. You have to use it, as I already said, for inner development. And you have to be busy with it each day. That is the best way, the most idealistic way to use astrology.
So how do you do it? How can we do it every day for people who don't know about astrology?
Well, of course, many people will be busy with astrology from time to time when they read a book about it, when they talk about it with other people. That is possible also. I mean, that's the way it is. But if you want to be an astrologer and really want to deepen out astrology, you have to bring it into your life each day. And that is one of I will talk about it in the second video, that is working with the moon, for instance, because the moon phases are phases of short development, and you will see very easily, if you deepen that out, how the moon works. You can also do it with the sun who passes through certain signs in 30 days. There are many ways you can use it. I will talk about that. But it has to be a central part of your life, and you have to be interested in it and give that a place in your life. Mm-hmm. If you take it seriously.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think everybody's interested in astrology at some point.
Yes, but there are, as I already said, there are different levels.
Yes.
And to be an astrologer, you need to have the first level or the highest level.
So one cannot just look at the horoscope on the newspaper. They have to go deeper than that.
No, they can look at in the newspaper, but then they're not astrologers.
Okay, so you think like every individual should at least know the moon cycle? No?
I'm talking about astrologers. Somebody who really wants to be busy with astrology in a sincere and serious way. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about people who are curious about astrology and just want to know a little bit about it. There are many people like that. They're all right for what they are. Well, my approach is for people who are more deeply interested in astrology and want to give it a try and take time for that each day. Because that's what the science, if astrology is a science, and from my point of view it is, that's what it needs. You cannot learn astrology from a book.
No?
No. Impossible.
So how do you learn it?
As I already told, on a daily basis.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mother. I'm learning with you. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe so you don't miss the next video about astrology. And we look forward to see you very soon. Have a nice day.
Le soleil chauffe la terre et déclenche des courants. L'aigle parcourt les airs au rythme du temps. La chaleur crée des ondes qui en montant génèrent des cercles magiquement. Les oiseaux se dirigent, l'œil perçant, vers le centre du cercle tourbillonnant. Un coup de leurs ailes, ils prennent le tournant et se posent sur les vagues, majestueusement. Une danse dans les sphères, un Seule pensée m'amène dans l'instant au cœur de ce monde, mystérieusement. Danser, danser les aigles, bercés par le vent, danser, danser les aigles, un ciel flamboyant, danser, danser les aigles, vos plumes en tombant nous apportent l'allégresse du soleil levant. Dansez, dansez les aigles, bercés par le vent, dansez, dansez les aigles, un ciel flamboyant, dansez, dansez les aigles, vos plumes en tombant nous apportent l'allégresse du soleil levant. Dansez, dansez les aigles, bercés par le vent, dansez, dansez les aigles, un ciel flamboyant, dansez, dansez les aigles, vos plumes en tombant nous apportent l'allégresse du soleil levant. Dansez, dansez les aigles, bercés par le vent, dansez, dansez les aigles, un ciel flamboyant, dansez, dansez les aigles, vos plumes en tombant nous apportent l'allégresse du soleil levant. Dansez, dansez les aigles, bercés par le vent, dansez, dansez les aigles, un ciel flamboyant, dansez, dansez les aigles, vos plumes en tombant nous apportent